what's that? What's that?
Oh! Incoming.
Whoa!
That's getting a bit too close.
Oh, that's crazy! Now, a lot of you guys probably know us for Monster Hunter, different looter shooters, and different action RPGs, but we do have to talk about Arc Raiders. We've been playing this game on and off through different tech tests and previews, so we've actually got a good bit of hands-on with it. And as personal fans of FPS games, BR games, and third-person shooter games, this is right in our wheelhouse. It's just that we don't cover those games that often on the channel. Although you may have seen a lot of our Battlefield 6 coverage lately, which we've been absolutely loving that, so expect more from us coming soon. Now, Arc Raiders is of course an extraction game, and a PvPvE game at that. But there are a few things that really made this game stand out to us to really pique our interest and really give it a proper try. You see, some of the developers are ex-DICE devs, which is already a good sign from us, and the game is made by Embark Studios, the same team that did the finals, which if you've ever played that you'll know is a very polished game and a lot of people really do vibe with it. So when things like good developers line up with a game type that we really enjoy, well, we're gonna have to check it out, and luckily, as I said, we have had some good hands-on time with it. I've got to say, this is a game that's looking like it could be something pretty special, and it's coming out on PC and console. It might just be one of the first extraction console games to really break through in the market, and I think this is going to be very accessible to a lot of people, at least if they give it a chance and a go. You see, extraction games a lot of the time can be quite hard to get into. There's a high skill ceiling, a lot to learn, and a lot of things going on, which can put off a lot of players that don't like that sort of intense atmosphere and a lot to learn. But Arc Raiders does things a little different. It's much easier to approach, the maps are really pleasant to explore, and overall it just has a good feel to it. The gameplay loop generally revolves around going out on raids to the surface, and there's a bunch of different maps. There's a bunch of dynamic events on those maps, from different weather conditions to night raids and things like that, so there's always something different going on. And that doesn't include the different encounters that you get with different people in the games that really does make it.
Nice job, man. You are dog shit.
You see, there's even proximity voice chat in this game, and baked in emote lines if you don't have a microphone. This makes for some incredibly funny, fun, and just memorable situations with other players. I mean, look at this example. We found some players right at the end of a raid, so we decided to team up and see what happens when the timer goes out.
It actually heals you?
That's so cool. You can heal enemies.
Another one, boys, another one.
Another one.
This one looks a bit closer.
Get him up in the
Close.
final one.
Close.
There's another one.
And that was, of course, super fun, finding some friendly players and just experimenting and seeing what happens in the game. But in actual matches, what you're really going to want to do is extract with your loot and return back to Speranza, the sort of hub area. There's different NPCs where you can buy things. There's a progression-based crafting system where you build different benches and then craft different weapons, gear, items, ammo, meds, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the NPCs have missions that you can do to go and find certain materials and bring back for rewards and reputation, and overall the progression does feel really good. It feels great jumping into a match, taking out some enemies, looting things up, and then getting out of there. But of course, the Arc robots are what make it really stand out as an extraction shooter, and the fact that it is a third-person shooter. The Arc robots have a lot of variety, from really small drones to really massive machines. They make for a really good atmosphere, and they are absolutely deadly. You can't just ignore them. They are a real presence in each match. So already the game has some things going for it that just make it feel good, different, and fun, and very polished. I also just love the visuals in this one. It just looks like a really nice game. It's just super pleasant to actually play and run around in this world. The actual maps themselves even feature little puzzles, hidden vaults, and things like that make the world really exciting if you're a loot goblin like us and you want to grab all of those goodies. It does seem like at the beginning when you play, the weapons are a bit iffy and the gunplay is a bit iffy. But that's because there's a proper progression system with the weapons. There's higher rarity ones and even upgrades you can do on them and weapon attachments. Plus, you can take 2 weapons into a match, which you almost always want to do, so you can hot swap between weapons, as it does take quite a few shots to take someone out, because players have both health and shields. And on that topic, it would be nice if there was a little more feedback when dealing damage to players outside of just the shield pop noise that you hear. Sometimes it doesn't feel very tactile when you're shooting them, but outside of that, everything else feels very satisfying. You can dodge roll between cover, there's a ton of different throwables and gadgets that you can use, from stun grenades to frag grenades, traps, mines, all this kind of stuff. Plus, all of your stats and things like that are actually held in a codex, which for any lore heads out there, there's a ton of codex entries in there, so it's going to be really interesting to see just what lore is out there for the world. So there's a lot to get stuck in with when it comes to the more story side of things in this world, even though mostly it's about the gameplay. One of the things that just constantly stood out to us as we were playing the different tech tests and previews was the presentation of the game itself. Things like missiles flying through the sky, the sound effects of pretty much everything in the world, and just the atmosphere is just unbelievable. As an extraction game though, one of the biggest concerns for a lot of people is going to be around the resets, how that works, and monetization. The monetization is largely in the form of a battle pass and cosmetics, so there's not really too much to worry about there if you don't mind people running around with different outfits, and while there are some cool ones, they do fit in the world really well. They don't stick out like a sore thumb, so there's some cool different outfits to grab if you want to support the game in that way. Otherwise, resets are done through something called expedition projects. These are 8-week cycles, but they are fully optional and only really necessary for someone who's playing regularly to complete the entire project. Think of it like a mission track, where you progress through the project, and if you complete it, you can then choose to reset your progress in around 8 weeks, which will reset everything except for cosmetics, whether it's earned or purchased, rewards, achievements, and your rankings. While anyone that didn't finish that project can simply choose not to reset and continue through it until the next reset comes along. So, as a more casual player, you don't really have to worry too much, and as a more hardcore player, you can choose whether to reset or not when you've completed those projects. And you'll get some account goodies and cosmetics, but they haven't exactly defined what those are. Of course, the graphics and the performance of the game has been very good. The stylized graphics makes the world feel really nice to explore, and we didn't experience any hard performance issues. The game ran really smoothly on our machines. But of course, your mileage may vary depending on what console or PC you're playing on. And there were some server issues in the tech tests, but they were fixed really quickly within about an hour, so hopefully the servers are good when the game goes live. So yeah, Ark Raiders is looking like something really cool in the extraction space, especially for any console players out there. The world feels great, the Ark robots make it more interesting and give good atmosphere, and overall it seems to have a good progression curve in there. So this is a game we're going to be jumping into and seeing how we get on with it in the full version where we can keep our progression. But do drop a like down below if you'd like to see more Ark Raiders coming your way soon. We'll have guides and extra things on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed and we'll see you very, very soon. Here at Arix Gaming, we're 2 friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.